fun? I was frantic and terrified. The sabbatical would take place in 5 countries in Africa over a 9-week period. There were 6 ongoing projects in Malawi, and in the other 4 countries, 20 workshops on movement and touch, entitled Deepening Connection for Healthcare Workers. Altogether, the work would involve 150 community participants and 90 healthcare workers, 38 planes, buses, shuttles, and a ferry, 12 places to stay, umpteen meals, and countless gallons of water, and last but not least, 1 very unpacked suitcase for 2.5 months of travel. The workshops were designed to revitalize hospice workers, but healing myself after all of this might be more difficult. In the end, the wildness of Africa brought me to a screaming halt, compelled me to breathe, listen to, and feel the space in between heartbeats.
Okay, good. Now you can let them down. Stretch them out.
The workshops were for hospice and palliative care teams and included everyone from docs and nurses to caregivers, cleaners, and custodians. I spent 3 to 5 days with each group doing yoga, qigong, and creative movement. Remembering your feelings right now. We also practiced tapping, head holds, comfort touch, and massage. We gave one another feedback and learned to touch with more awareness and sensitivity. Over time, a new sense of possibility and empowerment emerged in each of the groups. In the middle of the trip, I headed into the wilderness of Zimbabwe for a week. Looking back on it now, it seems I sort of fell in love. I'm not sure with whom or with what. Maybe the ancient cave paintings, maybe the safari guides, maybe the white rhinos. I don't know. I'm a city girl for the most part. Never even had a pet, not particularly fond of camping, no burning passion for wilderness, so what in the world happened to me? Yes, it was thrilling to track rhinos and watch elephants at their waterhole only 20 feet away. But there had to have been something more. Was it the history of the land or even of the human species? Was it the equal mix of life and death filling the space with a kind of irreverent beauty? Was it the spectacular night sky that welcomed you into life beyond? Was it about being a benign guest at the table of an untamed world, all of us wondering what was for dinner that night? Was it the extraordinary stillness that prevailed, even in the midst of the ubiquitous hunt, in which you could feel, if not literally hear, the heartbeat of things, your own and that of other creatures who knew no boundaries, like the family of elephants outside my tent one evening? Perhaps it was about the heartbeats and feeling them and feeling whatever was in between them. Not running, not hiding, not numbing. Feeling the fear and feeling the other side of fear, love. On the Upper Zambezi canoe safari, my guide Ndoga, after putting the fear of God in me that I was going to have to paddle those rapids on my own, ended up chauffeuring me down the river more or less like a princess on her floating throne. He kept saying, the rapids are no problem, but we'd better keep an eye out for those pesky little falls. With him, I didn't worry about the hippos, the elephants, or the crocodile kebabs we met along the way. Fear or love? On the Wangé Park walking safari, there was fear and eventually love. It was just me and Sibs, the chief guide with his shotgun and his little pouch of ash for determining which way the wind was blowing. And of course, the herd of buffalo we were crouched alongside for much of the time. Every single step, smell, and snapping branch reminded me of just how vulnerable I was. I remember thinking that my walking meditations didn't hold a candle to this level of awareness. Senses on high alert, preparing for the unexpected, not knowing, like the empty space in between heartbeats. Perhaps the wildness we fear is the pause between our own heartbeats, the silent space that says, we live only by grace. Each one of the parks, Wangé, Matobo, Victoria Falls, and Zambezi, was filled with this grace, vulnerability, and energy. Energy that at times moved rapidly, up to 75 miles per hour when the cheetahs chased, and every minute the 625 million liters of water flowed over the edge of Victoria Falls. At other times, the energy stood still, a precarious equilibrium in which all seen and unseen life forms hovered, until they dared not. Finding stillness was one of the main objectives in the movement and touch workshops. Allowing ourselves to sink into the silent space between heartbeats, a space of vulnerability and deep-seated feeling, openness and relaxation, the place where the parasympathetic nervous system kicks in and healing begins.
I've been so motivated. I used to have a big cake. The whole week was so meaningful.
I have realized that if you do the exercise in the morning, during the day, you become energetic enough to do the task, even though they are heavy.
Yeah.
Though the time was too little.
My mom has a back problem. I have learned a lot that I'm going to help her. It's really feel great, especially with this thing of mine of indigestion thing. Wow, you are number one. You know, sometimes we pretend to be strong, while else inside, we are weak. So this time, I'm gonna conquer the world.
To me, it's beneficial even to my patients. And mostly I've been dealing with a lot of issues, but now I think I'm relieved. You are very useful.
You have to face your fears.
Whether wildness in the hearts of the hospice workers or in the bush itself, it brought my running to a halt. Running toward getting all the things on the list done, or running away from fear, death, even from love. The wilderness, famous for running, speed, and danger, is also a place of stillness where we have no desire to run. We simply breathe, feel the fear, love, grace, mystery, and heal. Perhaps I did fall in love, not with a particular person or place, but with the pulse of many different heartbeats and those precious silent spaces in between them. Our shared vulnerability, our fears, our need for love and community. Seems I discovered my very own wild.